Hello, and welcome to Tea is Good, Books Are Better, the podcast where we drink tea and talk about books. I'm Raven.
And I'm Jess.
And we are once again brought to you remotely in quarantine. Yay!
Yeah.
I don't know if I've talked a lot about this on the podcast, but I had plans to go to Disney World this month.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, this episode is coming out on the 17th, so I would have been leaving in 4 days. Yep, leaving in
So
4 days for Disney World. Yep, but that's not happening anymore. We're recording this currently on the 5th of April,
Yeah.
so the borders are still closed. Everyone still has to self-isolate. All that fun shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, unfortunately, I have to cancel my visit to Disney World, which is really depressing.
Yeah.
And it's just been really stressful because we already bought Airbnb, we already bought flights, we already bought the Disney tickets. So trying to figure out like whether we'd be able to get our money back and whatnot has been.
Fuck. Have you, gotten, any
I'll
refunds?
I'll tell you,
Okay.
yeah. But it's been very stressful. So, especially now that I'm laid off and I'm not working anymore, so I'm not making money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, I might actually need that money back.
Yeah.
Let's see. With the Airbnb, we were able to get a credit back, but not a refund.
Same.
Yeah, so we just have a travel credit now that we can use towards another Airbnb in the future, which is something, but is obviously not ideal.
Yeah.
But it's something.
Yeah.
The flights, we have not been able to really get any information yet because
What?
yeah, we're flying with Delta, and what they're doing is basically just helping people whose flights are within 7 days. So as of this point, it's the 5th. We were supposed to leave on the 21st, so they would not help us until the 14th.
Ugh.
So yeah, they're just I guess helping the people whose flights are soonest first.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense on one level, but also still very stressful.
Yeah.
So yeah, we still don't really know what's happening with the flights. It kind of seems like we will most likely just be getting a credit again.
Yeah.
Again, not ideal, but at least it would be something.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I think it's kind of ridiculous with everything that's going on right now. It seems pretty outrageous for them to not be offering refunds. Because, who fucking knows when this is going to end? I don't know when we're going to be able to fly again. Fly again. I'm not going to be in a good financial situation, when we get out of this, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just think it's pretty crazy, and hopefully
I agree.
we can get a refund, yeah. And yeah, I've been doing research for Disney for a while throughout March, because they were closed until the 31st, and there was no word about whether the closure would continue.
Mm-hmm.
So now that it's April, found out the closure has been extended until further notice. So, I looked on the website, and everything basically said tickets are non-refundable. If your dates have been affected, you can use those tickets for any time in 2020, basically. But yeah, I was still I need this fucking money. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go anytime for the rest of this year.
Disney's not gonna tank.
Yeah.
Giving refunds.
Yeah.
Okay. There would still be a huge corporation after this if they gave back all their refunds.
Yeah. This is true. So, I
That's
called,
garbage.
I called Disney, and
Okay.
I basically just cried on the phone about how I lost my job, and then they gave me a refund.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I was like, they can't say no to this.
Nope.
Yeah.
You sound like a straight up sociopath.
Right. So that worked out.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we still have the flights to
Mm.
worry about, but at least it's something. It could be worse.
Yeah. At least you got some money back, yeah.
Yeah. That is it. That's what's going on with me. Oh, I've been writing every day.
Ooh.
Yeah, I started a short story last week, and
Yeah.
I've been trying to make myself write a page every day, and it's been going surprisingly well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. One page a day isn't a lot. Like, I wanted to give myself something achievable so I wouldn't feel
Yeah.
too, you know,
Overwhelmed.
overwhelmed. Exactly. Like, fucking Stephen King writes at least 6 pages a day.
Oh.
Which
Does he have a life?
he does. That's the crazy part.
Damn.
Yeah. Like, it can take me upwards of like an hour and a half to do 1 page. So
Oh.
for 6 page, I don't even know how. I don't understand him.
I guess as a job, 6 hours a day isn't that bad.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, for me,
Yeah.
I've also
For a noob.
for a noob. Hey, I'm a professional. I've been paid for my writing. That makes me professional, right?
I guess so.
But yeah, I've been feeling very not creative. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, I guess the stress of the shit that's going on
Hmm.
is just like, I don't really have room in my head right now for creativity.
Yeah. It might be a good time to write about how this is affecting you. Just like little memoirs. Memoirs.
Mm. Yeah, I had someone else suggest that to me too, so maybe I've never been good at keeping journals though, but maybe I'll try it.
Yeah.
But again, I don't want to put like too much on my plate right now too.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have like a lot more time than usual right now, but I don't know. I feel like it's fair to not like be the most productive you've ever been when there's a global pandemic going on. Which I try to remind myself because I tend to feel guilty if I'm not like getting stuff done.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
I don't.
Well, you're still working.
I guess.
That is my life right now. Yeah,
How are your hands going?
my hands. What do you mean?
Do you wash your hands a lot? Like, you don't really leave much, but
Yeah, not really. I'm mostly just in my room, so
uh,
I do
well,
not wash a
I
ton.
wash my hands a lot, and I've been developing like thick crusties on my skin. Like my hands are peeling so bad.
Ew.
Yeah, it's like it's getting really thick, and it's like so fucking gross.
Oh my god.
And I'm putting so much lotion on them, it's like not really doing anything.
Oh, what kind of lotion are you using?
I have a few. Some from Ipsy,
Hmm.
and that I have one from what's it called? Lush
I
that I
see.
use too. And, like they're good lotions. They're good
Hmm.
quality lotions. But just all of the hand washing, all the soaps, just and the hand sanitizer, just stripping the oils from my hands.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that won't be good for them. I
No.
wish I had some advice for you, but I really don't.
I had some wounds on my hand from playing with Bonnie. She scratches,
Yeah.
right? And it took forever for them to heal too, because of all the hand washing.
Wow.
My skin usually heals pretty fast, but this time it's like so bad, and I'm getting so much like little when your hand dries up and it like starts cracking open. So many over my fingers and knuckles.
Ow. That sounds brutal.
Yeah, and like it takes forever for it to heal.
Yeah. You're not the only one though. I just saw a picture on Reddit this morning of a
Hmm.
guy who posted his hands, and they were like, yeah, they were all red and like cracked and bleeding.
Yeah, a lot of my coworkers too, with like really dry hands.
Yeah,
Yeah, something we all gotta live with now.
I guess so. Can't you just wear gloves or something and then just throw them out and replace
I
them?
can. I just don't like how sweaty my hands get after a few hours wearing them.
Oh, I see.
I don't want to like marinate my hands in sweat.
Okay, so I guess your choice is sweaty hands or cracked, bleeding, painful hands.
Cracked, bleeding, painful hands.
Okay.
Because I don't like the wrinkle. You know when you have a bath and your hand and you get staying there for a long time and you get the wrinkles on your
The
hands,
pruny
the prune.
fingers. Yeah.
I don't want pruny fingers from sweat.
Yeah, that's a
It's
lot.
gross.
I get that when I'm gaming, when I'm holding my
Oh,
controller.
what?
My hands get very sweaty for some reason when I hold my controller. And then when I like put it down, it's like all wet and my hands are pruny.
Oh my god, that's so gross.
Thank you.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's a lot. Well, I wish luck to you in your hands.
Thank you.
I hope that the lotion starts to work soon, or I don't know. Maybe they'll get used to it and they'll get like nice and calloused, and I don't know.
Nice and callous, is that a thing? I think that this pandemic is gonna it's gonna make everyone like hand washing fiends in this generation. Everyone's gonna be like obsessed with hand washing. Everyone's gonna like keep everything that we're doing now for a long time to come.
Yeah,
I can see face masks becoming more popular after this pandemic. Everyone be more a lot more vigilant
I see.
with not being as germy.
Personal hygiene, yeah.
Yeah, I can see our generation being like a lot more like obsessed with that.
I feel like you have a lot more faith in humanity than I do. I feel like as
Oh.
soon as this is over, there's going to be like a couple of weeks or whatever, maybe a couple of months where people are, yeah, like obsessed with hand washing and trying to be very clean. But then I think people are just going to forget.
Well, the thing is, it takes 60 days for your brain to develop a habit,
Hmm.
and this is not. Is it 60 days? No, I think it's 30 days. And after that, it just becomes a habit, like a part of you. So that's why
Yeah,
I sort of believe that people will be a lot more careful. But I don't know. I guess everyone's different.
it's possible. Guess we'll
A lot of
see.
people will be. I
I
would say a
am,
lot of
yeah,
people.
I am definitely, I agree with you there. It's definitely going to be some people. But yeah, I am curious about what else is going to come out of this too, like how the
Hmm.
world is going to change. Like if you think
Oh yeah,
about one of the last huge things, like 9/11,
yeah,
basically the whole way that America does flights was
yeah,
completely changed.
yeah.
So I wonder about things like that. Like, is there going to be other things in society that are changing? Like, are they going to keep barriers between like cashiers and people? Um,
I like that.
yeah, just like kind of basic stuff like that. Like,
Mhm.
I went to get gas the other day and I had to go inside to buy it.
Oh my gosh. I went to Bosley's today to
Uh-huh.
buy some hay, and they opened the door for me, and then basically told me to stand up front by the the cashier desk while they shopped for me.
Whoa.
Yeah, they had like the whole shop blocked up. The whole store was blocked, so you couldn't get in anyway if you wanted to fight them.
Holy shit.
But yeah, I would like tell them what I wanted and have them bring it to me.
Whoa. See, yeah,
Yeah.
like stuff like that. When I went to Shoppers, they had the aisles like sectioned off.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, so the aisles were like divided up by tape on the ground. So like if someone was already in one section, you could not enter that section until they left.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just stuff like that.
Hmm. That stuff is all over Walmart, IGA, Superstore.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I wonder if they're gonna keep those stickers there for a long time after the pandemic.
I feel like people are still gonna be paranoid once shit is like
Yeah,
over.
it'll be a long time.
Yeah. But man, who fucking knows how long it's gonna be?
True.
I can't think about it.
Let's talk about Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Or A Clash of Kings, to be precise.
Mm-hmm. What are we drinking today, Jess?
Well, I'm still sipping on my ginger green tea. I have a massive mug the size of a bowl.
Nice.
For the good stuff.
For that good.
That good.
Yeah, I'm still sipping on my Moroccan mint tea as well from the last episode.
I do not like mint tea.
Oh, okay.
I'll mix it with chamomile, though.
Like
1 bag of chamomile, 1 bag of mint, and that makes it bearable for me.
Wow. Are you thinking like peppermint or like any kind of mint?
Any kind of mint. I only like mint and what is it? Mojitos? Only time I like mint.
I see. Or in your vape?
True, yeah. I like it in gum. I don't like peppermint gum. That shit is whack. I hate candy canes.
I like candy canes when they're not peppermint flavored. All right.
Kind of derailed.
Yeah, suddenly we're talking about peppermint. It is not Christmas time. All right, where do we leave off our characters, Jess?
Okay. The Stark Bannermen show up for the harvest feast, and Bran is triggered by talk of the incest rumors about Cersei and Jaime.
Because he saw that shit.
He sold it. Tyrion tells Maester Pycelle that he wants to send Myrcella to Dorne, Littlefinger that he wants to send Myrcella to the Vale, and Varys that he wants to send Tommen to Dorne. Sir Dontos swears an oath to bring Sansa home in a secret meeting in the Godswood. That was
how very succinct. All right, chapter 19 is Arya. Arya's chapters are action-packed, man.
Oh, they are.
Like, damn. All right, let's get into it.
I'm straight up scared. Please continue.
You're scared? Like for her? Or like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I'll end your chapter with, I'm scared.
I'm scared.
I'm scared at the beginning of this chapter, and I'm scared at the end. I'm scared.
All right, let's get into it. Arya is up in a tree scouting out the area. She spots a village along the shore of the lake, the God's Eye, but doesn't see any people. However, she sees smoke and thinks she hears a horse, which means someone must be there. Every other place they had come across had been empty and burned by the Lannisters. And speaking of burned by the Lannisters, when they had snuck back into the town they had stayed the night after the attack, it was all black and burnt. Everyone was dead, even the dogs. Gendry, Hot Pie, and Lommy all wanted to leave the second they walked in, but Arya was determined to find Yoren. Yeah, so Lommy, turns out, is with them. We were confused about this a couple episodes ago, about what happened with Lommy, because Hot Pie said he was gone, which we thought meant that he, like, fell behind, but no, apparently Hot Pie meant that he went ahead. Yeah. So, they're all together. So yeah, Arya wants to find Yoren. She keeps telling herself there's no way they could have killed him. He was too hard and too tough. But they found him with an axe blow in his skull, lying dead, surrounded by the corpses of 4 Lannister men. And Arya wonders how many men it took to bring him down. Yeah, well, there's 4 men around them, so I think that might be how many, Arya.
Maybe 5, because one of them had a kill.
Right. Arya thinks that Yoren was the one who was going to bring her home. Part of her wants to cry, another part wants to kick him. Classic Arya, kicking the dead. Yeah. So they bury him. In the Lord's Tower house, they find Cutjack, Tarber, and Kurz, who was part of their traveling gang, who had been hiding out there. So they're all together now and still planning on heading north. As Arya's in the tree, she takes a moment to admire the lake. She often wants to go for a dip and wash herself, but she doesn't dare take off her clothes when the others could see, because then they'd know she's a girl.
A girl.
A girl. Also, she had thrown away her rotted shoes and was now traveling barefooted. It was difficult at first, but her soles had grown hard by now. She's basically a hobbit. Food was hard to come by. They've been eating bugs and frogs, and Kurz had taught them to use rocks to make an acorn paste, but that tasted awful.
I was under the impression that only Arya was eating bugs. No one else would.
Okay, Arya's been eating bugs. Yeah, everyone else won't go lower than a frog, it seems like.
Yeah.
Arya's a fucking survivor, okay? She's like, yeah. I need my nutrition.
She wants to live. She needs that protein.
Yeah. She's like, y'all can starve and die, but I'm gonna live.
Yep.
Yeah, but Kurz, turns out, died. He had a shoulder injury from an arrow, and that injury eventually killed him. Must have gotten infected or something. They don't say, but I don't really see any. That it got infected?
It describes that she could see, like, the color changing around his neck, going up his neck around, and that's clearly infection.
Okay, it's clearly infection. Dr. Jessica says so. So
skin darkening is infection.
Okay. I'm agreeing with you. Why are we fighting? So they bury Kurz under some stones, and Tarber and Cutjack had taken all of his things and left. At first, they thought the two of them had just gone hunting, but they never returned. Turns out, they just wanted to be rid of all these fucking children.
Yeah, they fucking bailed.
Yeah, they're like, fuck this. We'll survive better on our own.
I mean, honestly,
they're not wrong.
To say.
Yep, I don't blame them.
Mm-hmm.
Arya climbs down from the tree and tells the others about the fishing village she saw in the distance. Weasel appears and hugs Arya's leg when she's on the ground again. And Weasel is what they are calling the crying girl now, because Lami thinks she looks like a weasel. But Arya does not agree with Lami. Gendry and Arya consider going there to try to steal some food, and Hot Pie and Lami want to yield to whoever is there. Lami, right?
They're so innocent.
Lami, especially, thinks that Yoren was a fool and should have yielded to the Lannisters, which pisses off Arya. Yeah. Fucking Lami.
They were there to murder?
Yeah, like, Lami, get it in your thick skull.
Yeah.
They gon' kill you. They're carrying Lami, by the way. He can't walk with his injured leg, so they made a makeshift litter for him. That sounds like a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
They talk about the risks of going to the village, while Hot Pie whines about being hungry. Eventually, Arya and Gendry agree to go to try... oh my god. Eventually, Arya and Gendry agree to go try to steal some food. Hot Pie and Lami don't want to be left alone without the only two badasses in the group, but Gendry tells them they're just going to have a look and be right back.
Nice.
So Gendry and Arya leave. When they're a safe distance away, Gendry tells her he thinks Lami is going to die, which doesn't surprise Arya, especially after Kurz died from his wound. Arya suggests looking for a maester to help him, but Gendry thinks they'll be better off once Lami dies. He's just slowing them down. Gendry thinks the crying girl is of no use either, but Arya defends her, tells Gendry to leave her alone. Gendry thinks Arya is the only one who's good for anything, even if she is a girl. Arya freezes. She tries to say, I'm not a girl. But Gendry rolls his eyes and tells her to take out her cock and piss then. There's some more arguing, but it becomes clear that the jig is up. She's a girl! Gendry knows she's a girl! Gendry asks her to Goddamn. Gendry asks her why she thought the gold cloaks were after her and what her real name is. She agrees to tell if he explains why the gold cloaks were after him. Gendry doesn't know why they were after him, though. Does he actually not know, or is he lying?
He doesn't know that he's a bastard.
Of King Robert. Okay.
Yeah. Ned didn't tell him.
Right. So, Arya makes him promise not to tell the others, and then tells Gendry she's Arya Stark, and Eddard Stark was her father. Gendry realizes she's highborn and starts calling her "Milady," which pisses her off. But I think it's really cute, them arguing about it.
He's doing it just to piss her off.
But he also seems like a little bit taken off guard by like what she's seen him do.
Yeah.
Because he like hasn't been holding back. Like he'll just take out his cock and like piss right in front of her, or like belch really loud. And now he's like, oh
probably
shit.
Fart.
Yep, here, yeah. I'm sure.
He's basically been nasty.
But now he's like, oh shit, you're a lady, my lady. Once they reach the village, there's an awful smell, like death. Gendry goes around the west side to look for some road, while Arya takes the shore. Arya slips between bushes, keeping out of sight, and eventually sees what is making the smell. There's a gibbet. So I learned another new word. A gibbet is a device meant for hanging bodies. It's basically the thing you draw when playing Hangman. The first thing you draw. That's what a gibbet is.
Oh my god.
Yeah. There's a gibbet there, off of which dangle things that were once men. Crows and flies pick at their flesh. So it seems like it's just like bits of bodies left. Really gross.
Yeah, it's... Ugh.
Yeah. But Arya is a fucking badass, so she forces herself to look at all of them, reminding herself that fear cuts deeper than swords. Dead men cannot hurt her. Nope. But she realizes whoever killed them could.
Yep.
Arya sees banners nearby as well. One is red and the other is white or yellow. She can't quite tell. Then she hears a shout, and then a man comes into view with a captive wearing a shiny steel helm with horns. Fucking Gendry. Arya watches the guards take his helm, ask him a question, hit him, and then lock him in the storehouse. Then there's some wind, and Arya looks at the banners. The red one has the Lannister lion, as she had feared, while the yellow one has 3 black dogs. She had seen them before, but she doesn't remember where. I remember where!
Me too!
We were just reminded in the Sansa chapter in the last episode, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's the Cleganes, which means this is fucking Gregor Clegane's gang.
Yeah. Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
They're in for a world of hurt.
That is bad news for Arya. Arya stays there for ages, just hiding in the bushes, waiting for an opportunity, waiting for the guards to leave so she can try to free Gendry, but they never leave. Eventually, Arya sneaks out of the village and back into the woods. She explains what happened to Lommy and Hot Pie, and tells Hot Pie he needs to help her get Gendry out. He asks how many guards there are, and she says about 20, which almost makes Hot Pie cry. He's like, we can't fight 20!
Well, he's right.
He is right. But Arya says that there's only 2 guarding the door, so Hot Pie only needs to fight 1, and she'll do the other, and then they'll just get Gendry out and run. That's the innocence in Arya.
Yeah, she's in over her head.
Oh, sweetie. She's determined.
Yeah.
Lommy says they should either yield or leave Gendry behind. But Arya says Gendry is the strong one, and they need him. She's like, who the fuck is gonna carry you if we don't have Gendry?
Yeah.
So, Hot Pie leaves with Arya. As they're leaving, Lommy asks what he should do if the wolves come, and Arya tells him to yield. Oh, that's so fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. So, they sneak into the village, Arya and Hot Pie, and Arya warns Hot Pie about the bodies so he won't be startled. As they're crawling around the gibbet, a crow lands on Hot Pie's back and he gasps. A voice shouts out, "Who's there?" And Hot Pie immediately leaps to his feet, yelling that he yields. For fuck's sake. Arya gets up and draws a needle and starts slashing at the men surrounding her, but they are armored, so it really doesn't do much. One of them snatches Needle from her grasp, and another punches her when she tries to bite him. So Arya's lying there on the ground, half conscious, distraught and ashamed that Needle was taken from her.
Yeah.
She and Hot Pie are put on their knees before the tallest man Arya had ever seen, and she immediately knows who he is. She remembers Sansa telling her about him. The mountain that rides. So, this is Gregor Clegane, the mountain.
Yep.
He makes Hot Pie lead him to the others in the woods, because Hot Pie's apparently told him about everything. They find Lamy where they left him, and he immediately yields, typical. And when they ask about the girl, who Hot Pie told them about, Lamy says she ran off when she heard them coming. The mountain tells Lamy to tell them where to find Dondarrion, but Lamy doesn't know who that is. One of the spearmen asks about Lamy's leg and whether he can run. Lamy says no, they'll have to carry him. Oh dear, Lamy. The spearman is like, oh yeah? And he stabs Lamy through the throat. That's the end of that chapter.
Damn.
Well, I feel like Lamy kind of brought that on himself, but...
He's
damn.
a dumb kid.
Yep, a little Dumbo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, shit.
Well, I guess they're looking for that lord that the group that attacked the Night's Watch were looking for. Dondarrion.
Dondarrion, yeah. Gregor Clegane is definitely looking for Dondarrion, as evidenced by this chapter. I'm not convinced that the Lannisters in her previous chapter were looking for Dondarrion. I think they just thought that they could be Dondarrion because of the black.
Okay.
Well, did I miss anything?
No.
I feel like I always have so much to say after your chapters, but but you never have anything to say after mine.
Sometimes I do.
Occasionally.
I just butt in when you're talking.
Yeah, so fucking Gendry got captured. What?
He was probably too loud.
Yeah, I guess so. He didn't really...
Like, he's really good at sneaking.
Yeah, he's not the best sneaker.
Should've just sent Arya.
Yeah, they should have just sent Arya. Gendry should have stayed behind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so chapter 20 is Tyrion.
Okay. A pyromancer is showing Tyrion clay jars full of wildfire.
Wildfire!
They are deep in an underground vault. The jars feel very fragile, and it's rough and pebbled to prevent it from slipping from a man's grasp.
It's clever.
Tyrion remarks that the liquid is thick. The pyromancer says that it's because of the cold. As it warms up, it flows like oil. Tyrion says that he heard even water couldn't quench the fire, and the pyromancer says that once it takes fire, it will burn until it is no more.
Damn.
The pyromancer Hallyne, I think. Hallyne? Hallyne.
How do you spell it?
Hallyne.
Yeah, Helene.
Hallyne says there is a vault below them where there are even older pots from King Aerys' day, and they are riper than ever, so they have sealed them with wax and filled that vault with water.
Damn.
Yeah.
This shit is dangerous.
Oh, yeah. Tyrion asks if the old pots can still be used, and Hallyne says yes, but carefully. Any spark or too much heat can set it ablaze.
Damn.
Tyrion asks how many jars they have, and Hallyne says 7,840.
Holy shit.
4,000 of them are the old jars.
Damn.
They have been working to have 10,000 ready for the queen. Tyrion at first thought that they were like just, exaggerating numbers, and I was like, holy crap, we're gonna get 10,000. He doesn't know if he should be delighted or terrified.
That is a lot of wildfire.
Yeah. He tells Hallyne to make sure that they aren't rushing. He doesn't want any defective jars. Hallyne assures him that only very trained acolytes are making the substance, and above each work cell is a room filled entirely with sand, and a protective spell is laid on the floors of each room. that will cause it to easily fall away. So if like something goes wrong and it blows, the floor will fall away, and then the sand from the room above will quench the fire. Or
Wow.
kill the acolyte, but it puts out the fire.
Yeah. One acolyte versus the entirety of King's Landing.
Yeah. Tyrion thinks that by spell he must mean clever trick.
Tyrion doesn't believe in magic.
No. Tyrion asks how many clay jars that they have, and if he can take a few thousand.
And he wants empty ones.
Yeah. He would like them sent to the captains of each city gate. Halleyne agrees and says that he's glad that the king has taken an interest in them, and says that he would like to meet with the king to demonstrate their powers. And Tyrion says that he will take it up with his sister while thinking that there's no way in hell that he's putting wildfire in Joffrey's hand.
Yeah, that would be dangerous.
Yeah. Another King Aerys, y'all.
Burn them all! Burn them all!
When Tyrion leaves, Bronn is waiting for him with messages. Again!
Again, Messenger Bronn.
He's needed urgently at the Gate of the Gods, and he's been summoned to the castle to see the queen. Tyrion goes to the gate first, where Cleos Frey is waiting, with peace terms from Robb Stark.
Yeah, so this is the cousin of the Lannisters that Robb had taken captive and sent away, being like, these are my ridiculous terms.
Yeah. Tyrion takes the letter and says that there's no way that they will be trading the Stark girls back, and says that they will propose their own exchange of captives and send him back with their own terms. He orders the commander of the gate for Cleos and his men to have every hospitality. They are not to set foot inside the city. He doesn't want the conditions of King's Landing to reach Robb Stark.
Right. So does he think that Cleos would tell Robb, or does he think that whoever Cleos's guard are would tell Robb?
Yeah, someone's gonna end up telling Robb.
Because is Cleos's guard his own personal guard, or is it Robb's people?
I think it's his own personal guard, because they were attacked a few times by Stark men on the way there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They lost, I think, a couple of men.
Oh.
Even though they were waving peace banners.
Right.
Yeah, I think he mentioned that some of the men who attacked him didn't have sides. They were just killing for killing.
Was it just for killing, or was it like for their supplies?
Could be.
Probably. Everyone's starving out there, yeah.
Without choosing sides, they're just fighting. He also tells the commander that each gate will receive a large supply of clay pots, and to fill them with green paint, and train his men at loading and firing without breaking any. Any man who spatters must be replaced. When it is mastered, they should fill the pots with lamp oil and practice firing them while aflame. Once they can do that without burning themselves, they will be ready for the wildfire.
Very clever.
On his way back to the Red Keep, he comes across a preacher shouting about the comet being a result of the gods cleansing the corruption from the city. He's shouting about their monster king, born of incest, and the High Septim choosing pride over prayer, and the twisted little monkey demon ruling the castle.
Twisted little monkey demon? Is that Tyrion?
Yeah, Tyrion is amused by twisted little monkey demon, and he thinks that the preacher has a point with the High Septim. When he reaches his chambers, Cersei is waiting for him, pissed that he ignored her summons. Cersei calls him a disgusting little worm. How dare he try to sell Myrcella to Dorne?
Ooh. She knows.
She knows one of them. Tyrion argues that she will be a lot safer in Dorne, but Cersei disagrees, saying that the Martells hate them. Tyrion says sure, but he's sure Prince Doran will treat Myrcella much more kindly than Joffrey has treated Sansa Stark, and even offers to send a knight of the King's Guard as her sword shield. He says Martell is too honorable to murder a 9-year-old girl, and the terms are too rich to refuse. Cersei says that he has offered too much without her authority or consent. Tyrion asks her how safe she thinks Myrcella would be. If King's Landing falls, her head would be mounted beside hers, and Cersei begins to cry. Tyrion is shocked. He awkwardly tries to pat her shoulder, but she retches away, saying, "Don't touch me, don't look at me," which cuts him deep. Yeah. It really hurts him. Aww. He turns his back to her and says that he didn't mean to frighten her, and he promises that Myrcella will be safe. Cersei calls him a liar and that he had promised to free Jaime. Where is he? Tyrion says that he's safe and guarded in Riverrun. Cersei asks what the hell is their father doing sitting behind the walls of Harrenhal, and Tyrion assures her that he's making war, waiting for the other to move. Cersei asks what if Renly reaches their gates, and Tyrion says that the city will not fall in one day, and from Harrenhal it is a swift march to this city where their father's forces will take them from the rear.
Sandwich them against the walls.
Yeah. Cersei is starting to look reassured and asks what if Robb Stark marches. Tyrion says Harrenhal is close enough that their father would intercept them. Tyrion then says that if they weren't winning, then would the Starks have sued for peace? And he gives her the letter with the terms. While she reads it, he thinks about how he knows who the snitch is.
Yep.
Dun, dun. Because God damn it, Maester Pycelle.
Yeah, Pycelle's the only one he told that Myrcella is going to Dorne.
Yeah, it's the one who knew that.
So, yeah, what a smart way to find out who's, like, on your side and who isn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, Littlefinger's on his own side, but
yeah.
We know now that, like, Littlefinger and Varys are not loyal to the Queen. They're loyal to themselves / the realm.
Yeah.
Whoever they think is smartest. Yeah, but fucking Pycelle, loyal to Cersei. So now Tyrion knows he can't trust him. Very smart. Okay, chapter 21 is Bran.
Brandon.
Once again, Bran. Still a lot of politics in this one, but less than the last one. Okay, so Bran rides Dancer into Winterfell's Great Hall, where men are crowded on the benches. They cheer as he enters, calling out Stark and Winterfell. Bran knows it's not truly him they're cheering for. It's the Harvest, Robb, and his Lord Father. Osha and Hodor seat Bran in his father's chair next to Rickon. Bran welcomes all their guests, and the feast begins. There are several pages about the feast, which sounds delicious, but there really isn't a ton of important info, so I'm just going to give a couple highlights. Bran sends specific dishes to some of the lords as gestures of friendship, and Bran thinks about the welcoming feast when King Robert brought his court to Winterfell, and how Bran's whole family had been there, minus Jon. He's saddened that they're all gone now, and he looks at the faces around him and wonders who will be gone by next year.
Oh.
That is depressing.
Yeah.
Partway through the feast, a couple of newcomers arrive. Mira of House Reed and her brother Jojen of Greywater Watch. As I read more about these characters, they started to sound familiar. And then when I googled them, I was like, oh, okay, I knew it. Is this how Bran met them in the show, though?
No.
Yeah, they just met randomly in the woods or something, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Jojen finds them in the woods.
Okay. So many differences.
Yep.
The Walders, who are seated at the high table next to Rickon, call these two frog eaters and mudmen when Rickon asks who they are. Sir Roderick tells Bran that Howland Reed was a great friend to Lord Eddard, and these two are his children, it would seem. The girl barely looks like a girl, and she carries armor and weapons, whereas her brother is several years younger and bears no weapons. Bran greets them and accepts their gifts of fish, frog, and fowl, and then invites them to feast with them. Bran tries to remember everything he'd been taught about these people. That's like a nice lordly thing to do. Instead of just being basic and generic with them, he's like, how can I make sure that these specific people feel comfortable and welcome?
Yeah.
Which is good. The Reeds are Cranagmen. I don't know what that means. Do you?
What? The Cranagmen?
Cranogmen? Cranagmen?
Oh. I don't really know what that means either. I mean, Cranogmen? They're called so for their habit of living in small villages formed of reeds and thatch that sit atop floating islands in the mire, called Cranogs.
Oh, yeah, I just looked up the word Let me see how to define this. Or how to say it. Pronounce it.
Cranig.
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 Cranigs.
Yep, it's an ancient fortified dwelling constructed in a lake or marsh in, specifically, Scotland or Ireland. Interesting. Cranig. Okay, so they are Cranagmen from the Nick, who live in the bogs there. They're poor, and it's said that they are cowardly as well, fighting with poisoned weapons and hiding from enemies. And yet, Howland Reed had been Eddard's companion during the war for King Robert's crown. Yeah. Notably, the boy Jojen asks where the direwolves are, and the girl Mira explains that Jojen wants to see them, but Rickon tells them they're in the Godswood. After the feast, the tables are pushed aside for dancing, and Bran stays long enough to be polite. As Hodor is carrying him out, they come across Joseth, the master of horse, fucking some woman up against a wall. Hodor stops to watch, but Bran makes him go on.
Oh, God.
What the what? Okay. Guess he's curious. So, Hodor takes Bran to his bedchamber, puts him to bed, and leaves. Bran remembers randomly his father telling him about the greatest knight he ever saw, Sir Arthur Dayne, who fought with a blade called Dawn, and how Dayne would have killed Eddard if not for Howland Reed. Oh, shit. This is why you were all like, remember this name.
Remember
him. And I was like, what are you talking about? When Bran falls asleep, he dreams that he's Summer again, prowling around the Godswood with Shaggy Dog. But then, 2 intruders come into the Godswood, neither of whom are afraid at all. Weird. He and Shaggy growl at them, but the intruders come closer. Bran recognizes Mira and Jojen. Mira asks...
Weird.
What?
What on earth? They're sneaking into the Godswood to meet with the direwolves by themselves?
Right? They've got balls.
Yeah.
Mira asks Jojen if he knew they would be so big, but he tells her they will be even larger when they're fully grown. He says that the black one is full of fear and rage, but the gray is strong, and he moves towards the wolves. Mira tells her brother to be careful, but he says they won't hurt him. This is not the day he dies. He seems very confident.
Yeah.
The moment his hand touches Summer/Bran's muzzle, the dream disappears, and Bran is spinning and falling. That is the end. Wow. 2 new characters who seem important.
Significant.
Yeah. Exactly.
Pushing the wolves like that? Whoa.
Yeah, like, what is going on with these 2?
Yeah.
What are they doing with the wolves? What do they want with the wolves? Why is Jojen so weirdly, like, confident? How does he know this is not the day he dies? Lots of questions. Do we know what Howland Reed did for Eddard?
Yeah, I mean, if you remember from season 6 of Game of Thrones.
Okay, well,
I
mean in the book.
Oh. Well then, no, because Ned doesn't talk about it.
Right. Okay, so we don't currently know how Howland Reed, I'm assuming, saved Eddard from Arthur Dayne.
Yeah.
Huh.
We don't know.
Yeah. Very curious. All right, well, that's the end of that chapter, and that's the end of this episode.
Yep.
If you want more of the podcast, please follow us on Instagram. You can follow the podcast at Tigbab Podcast, or you can follow us separately. My handle is Crimby, Jess's is just.egan24. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search Tigbab Podcast or Tea is Good, Books Are Better, and we should pop up there. Also, please subscribe to our good friend Baram Barami on YouTube. He's the one who made our jingle that you heard at the start of this episode, and he's really dope and makes cool stuff, so give him a like and a subscribe. Also, you can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Tea is Good, Books Are Better. We have a few different tiers on there with fun rewards, so If you contribute, you will get something in return. You will also be helping us out immensely, and we'd be very appreciative, but we also just appreciate you listening. Please don't forget to share the podcast with your friends so that we can continue to grow and have something to do while we are in quarantine. Okay, that's it. Thank you for listening. We'll see you in the next one.
See ya.
Bye.